the 1997 model year, Dodge introduced their second generation Dakota pickup truck. The following model year, 1998, they released the Dodge Durango SUV, modeled after the Dakota pickup truck. At the time, you could get a 3.9 liter V6 engine or a 5.2 liter V8 mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission. In the year 2000, the 5.2 liter V8 was replaced with a 4.7 liter V8 engine in the traditional Durango. But then, also in 2000, Dodge came out with this thing. Say hello to the Dodge Durango RT. This particular example, RT Durango, is a 2001. Now, all RT Durangos were equipped with a 5.9 liter V8 engine, producing 250 horsepower. Unfortunately, once again, it was still mated to the 4-speed automatic transmission with no manual available. We'll start on the outside tour of the truck. As you can clearly tell, it is indeed modeled, at least up front, after the second generation Dakota pickup truck of its time. The same grille design, same bumpers, headlights, the same hood design which was used from the 97 Dakotas on, also on the Durangos, and still used today on the Ram pickup trucks, which I always thought was a really neat hood design. From the headlights to the front seats is pretty much a Dakota pickup truck, and then you have a 3-row, 7-passenger SUV. The RT came with some upgrades over the lower level Durangos. Here we have these much nicer 17-inch wheels wrapped in 265mm tires, so a bit wider tires as well. You also get these nice step boards here, unlike most other Durangos. Coming around back, it is pretty much just your typical Durango. We have the taillights, borrowed from the Dodge Caravan of the time. However, they did not use the same tailgate, it is different. Down here, this one does have a tow package. The first generation Durango, this generation, was rated to tow up to 7,500 pounds. Up top here, of course, like most SUVs, we have a roof rack and this sloped roof, which actually raises up 2 inches over the front seats to facilitate this third row. Climbing into the interior of the Durango, we have all power options, your mirrors, your locks, your windows. Right here we do have a full instrument cluster, which I believe all cars should have. Your steering wheel has your cruise control on either side, as well as these buttons here on the back of the steering wheel on both sides, which are radio controls. Now, this is obviously not the factory radio for this vehicle, but I do have that. right here. It's pretty much your typical Dodge radio of the time, available in many Chrysler models. CD player, cassette player, have a bit of equalizer here in this area. Also up front in the dash we have dual zone climate control for driver and passenger. Here's a switch for your rear wiper with intermittent settings. We do have rear heat and air controls, so we can turn that so the rear passengers can control it, or we can say that they can't. Down here we see another cool feature of the Durango RT. It is all-wheel drive, and you have the option to go into four-wheel high or low in case you want to off-road this beast. This Durango also offers heated seats, and here are the controls. The odd thing about these controls is they're mounted right side up if you were able to turn and look this way. Otherwise, you got to be able to read upside down. Otherwise, I guess you're out of luck. I don't know. Also, the seats are power adjustable. And on the RT, you get the RT logo embroidered into the seats. Also in the Durango, we have plenty of storage options. Here we have multiple door pockets on the driver and passenger doors. We have this storage area here in front of the two cup holders, which are fully adjustable. We also have this larger cup holder if you like big drinks. Have another smaller storage right here. A little storage cubby under this air vent, not to mention your glove box. And a center console, which opens for driver access. Inside of that, we have a 12-volt power plug, in addition to the one under the dash. One interesting quirk, I guess you could call it, present on not only this Durango, but some other Dodges of the time. In fact, our 2005 Caravan had this same feature, is the column-mounted gear selector. Now, in most vehicles, when you pull down on this, it goes sort of like it's rotating around the steering column. In this, however, it goes in a rotational direction towards the driver. Very strange. It's really the only company I've ever seen do that. But hey, it works. If we move up in the front of the Durango, here we have our auto dimming rear view mirror and the buttons to control it. We also have above that this neat little display here, which shows all kinds of different values for you. Here we have the current distance to empty for our gas tank. This is a bit of a gas hog, little over a quarter of a tank and 76 miles to empty. I forget what that is. You can have it completely blank if you don't want to see it. Here we have a compass. Here's an additional trip odometer. Of course, you have the one down here in the dash, but you can also have this one. Here we have our average fuel economy, which I think speaks for itself. And our current fuel economy, which naturally is 0 since we're not going anywhere right now. We're back to distance to empty. You also have this button here, which will shift from US to metric units. 76 miles to empty, 122 kilometers to empty. Here we have sunglass holder, not unusual, as well as programmable garage door buttons. Now that's a nice touch. Our sun visors have mirrors with lights in them. And I say visors because they both have it. Please don't use this while driving. The second row of the Durango, we have, once again, we have storage pockets in both doors. Nothing on the back of the driver's seat. However, we do have a passenger seat rear storage pocket. On the ceiling, we have our controls for the rear climate control, second row vents, and the third row are back there, of course. Now climbing into the Durango, and here's my issue. I'm kind of tall, a little over 6 feet, and this driver's seat is in the perfect position for me to drive this truck. These are my knees. I am wedged behind this seat, so not a place for tall people unless there's short people up front. You can seat 3 people in this row. However, if 2 of them are big guys like me, that's probably not going to work out too well. Now if we fold down this center seat section, we do have cup holders. So you either have 3 passengers or cup holders in the rear. And now it is time to access the third row of the Dodge Durango. To do that, we have this lever right here on the side of the second row seat. If we pull that up, the seat will flip forward. Now if you're talented and more nimble than I am, this is enough for you to climb in. But if you're not, we come back here. You see each side has a little red lever. If we pull up on that, the seat flips forward. And there we have it. Now, with the seat in its full flipped up position, now anyone can climb into the back row of this truck, as I shall now demonstrate. See? Even a fat guy like me can get in the back of this thing. Not fit, get in. Alright, now that we're in the third row of the Dodge Durango, let's discuss this third row, shall we? Beginning with the seat cushion. Now here's our seat back. Our cushion ends here. This is my son's booster seat. It ends here. At least 2 to 3 inches over the front of this seat. Now he does sit back here, it's perfectly safe. However, this is the only type of person I would put back here. If you're an adult, I certainly wouldn't. We have 2 cup holders, both on the driver's side. None over here for some reason. Aside from that, there is no other storage on the third row of this vehicle. Okay, you may have heard me say a minute ago that the third row is not a place for adults, and here I'll show you why. So if we reach forward, pull the second row seat down, pull the seat back up into place, as well as the center armrest / seat. Now it's extremely tight. If I have my knees up like stereotypically you would, I am completely uncomfortable. There's no room at all back here to sit. And if I'm spread out like this, it's a little bit more tolerable, but you're not going to be able to share the back row with anybody. It's still pretty uncomfortable. Headroom could be worse. If I put my head back, it's going to hit the ceiling, but sitting upright, not really a problem. Now, if you are stuck back here, be hopeful that the people up front like you enough to help you, or else you're stuck doing this yourself. To get out, you have to reach down and pull that lever on the side of the seat, and it'll flip. Grab that red lever, pull it, and flip it forward. Now that everything's down, you can get out. So, if someone in your family or one of your friends has one of these and they choose you to sit in the back, as in the third row, that might be a good time to start questioning your relationship with that person. And now for the rear of the Durango, if we lift up on tailgate here, come inside, as you can tell, with the third seat in its upright position, there's not a great deal of cargo room back here. Now we do have another 12-volt power outlet, very handy, and we do have this storage space underneath for all the essentials. Now these seats can be folded down, both rows actually, for a nice flat loading floor for larger objects. To do that, we come over here to the side. Let's put the back of this seat down so we have easier access. Now this seat cushion comes out and flips down and sits just like this. This seat cushion is what locks this seat back into this upright position. Now if we just fold that down, it sits right down. You can flip this panel here over, and now we have a flat floor here. If that's all you need, cool. If not, leave this seat down, flip down your center, and then come around to the other side. Put this down here. And here we have a nice big flat loading floor for anything you may need. Or if you want to camp out in here, you could probably blow up an airbed and sleep in it. Very versatile vehicle, despite its extremely low fuel economy. And now the time has come to fire up that big beastly 5.9 liter V8 Magnum engine. Now a couple of days ago this thing still had an exhaust leak and a stock muffler, but still sounded pretty darn good. Take a listen. But now that exhaust has been repaired, the muffler was replaced by a thrush welded muffler that I bought extremely cheap, and now I think sounds even better. So let's fire it up. Alright, time to take the Durango out on the road. We'll pull down our oddball Dodge gear selector and head out. I do like the way this truck drives, and I actually do like the view out the windshield. As you drive along, the first thing you notice is that hood shape, that almost big rig like hood shape that Dodge has been using on the Dakotas and Durangos. Had been for a while. It's been using on the Rams ever since. Now if we look all around, we have amazing visibility in this vehicle. It is a large SUV, therefore there are a lot of windows all the way around. This is actually a very easy vehicle to drive. I mean, it's not anything super special, but it can also be a lot of fun, especially if you want to lay on the power. Now this thing will get out of its own way. You master the floor, it's got a couple of seconds, and then the power is delivered. So it's, it's not like anything of today. Certainly not like a Grand Cherokee Trackhawk or anything like that. But it's good enough. 250 horsepower in a vehicle that weighs 4,600 pounds cannot do a lot of complaining. And even inside, that exhaust sounds good. And it's not very drony at all. It's not vibrating the entire cabin. It really does sound good. Now, as great as this truck is, during the time you could have actually gotten even cooler with the Durango. For '99 and 2000, Dodge put out what was known as the Durango SP360. And this thing is, well, let's just say this thing is super cool. They took the 5.9 liter V8 that's present in this Durango, put a supercharger on it, and it produced 360 horsepower. It also had a host of upgrades inside and out. It had updated wheels, body kit, dual exhaust coming out the rear. The paint standard was the same blue with white stripes that was found on the Dodge Viper of the time. Very iconic color. Inside, you had a redesigned dash and door panels and consoles, carbon fiber all over the place on the interior. And this was back at the turn of the century. Super cool to see that much carbon fiber then. You also had the option in the 360 Durango to have sport buckets in the first 2 rows. And you'd also get a console in the second row. He also had upgraded suspension for better handling. Super cool vehicle. Not very many made. I cannot remember the number that I found was made. I've never seen one myself. I would absolutely love to see one. If by some slim chance anyone saw this video and has one or knows someone that has one that would be willing to let me review and drive it, I would be eternally grateful. I can only imagine how crazy that thing is to drive, knowing how nice this is to drive. You know, 250 horsepower, 5.9 liters, all-wheel drive. It's not bad. Now the trade-off is terrible fuel economy. I look up here, find our current MPG 13, and that's because I'm coasting down the road. As I come to the stoplight, of course, it's gonna get even more until I stop moving, and then of course 0 because I'm not using any fuel. I don't know if you can see, but I'm currently accelerating and not even that hard, and sitting about 6-7 miles to the gallon, maybe 8. This thing is definitely bad on gas, but it is halfway decent to drive. The seats are decently comfortable, and I think I can handle them for a fairly decent long road trip. But under acceleration, we're down to 4 miles per gallon right now. Not, like I said, I'm not even on it hard. It's very bad on gas. One thing this is not, however, is a curve handling vehicle. It's alright, but there's still definitely body roll. It is a tall SUV. And you're just not going to handle these curves. Now I imagine the Shelby SP360 version would be much better, although it seems to be just as tall, same amount of ground clearance. From what I could tell in the picture anyway, it looked like the same ride height. Definitely not a curve handler, but this thing is a puller. I do enjoy driving this nonetheless. Let's see if we can get another acceleration pull here. Oh yeah, this thing is decently quick enough. Obviously you're not going to set any 0 to 60 records in this truck. Even the SP360, from what I could find, claims a 7.1 0 to 60 time. I'd say that places this somewhere in maybe the 8s or the 9s. But then again, you know, like I said before, it does weigh 4,600 pounds. So it's not light, only 250 horsepower. It's got plenty of power, but it's not going to set any record times. And there you have it. That is the 2001 Dodge Durango RT. A great all-around SUV, very versatile, seating for 7, as long as 2 of those are children. Good towing capacity, great power, and ooh, a great sound. I hope you've enjoyed the review of this Dodge Durango RT and found it somewhat informative and hopefully maybe even a little entertaining. But if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, make sure you get updated whenever I post a new video. Make sure to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below what you think. Follow me, this channel, on Instagram and Facebook at that car vlog channel. Hope we'll see y'all again real soon. Take it easy.